Chris,
What's up?
welcome to Georgia Followers.
Let's go. Let's get it.
We appreciate having you.
I'm glad to be here.
Nice, nice. So, I've never met you before,
Yeah.
so which I think is a great thing, because I get to learn more about you,
Yeah,
learn some perspectives from you. So, I got a few questions for you.
Absolutely.
All right,
Let's
cool.
get it.
So I guess first, honestly, tell us about yourself. Tell us where you're from. You know, tell us about you, your career path, and what you got going on.
Chris Massey. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Here. I grew up in LA and Atlanta, so I kind of had the best of both worlds in that aspect because my brother and I left Atlanta when I was 10 years old to pursue acting in LA. Only to fast forward, 20, 30 years later, now Atlanta's the mecca of film and television. So it was kind of a cool story to be born in the place that film and television moved to, essentially. So yeah, it's a little bit, and grew up on television, obviously, and music. I write scripts, produce, so kind of do everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what made you wear an LA hat to a Georgia Follower interview?
Well, man, I'm best of both worlds. I'm trying to find one that say LA and Atlanta, but I gotta get a custom one.
You can put like a T, like a little permanent marker
Yeah,
T right
exactly.
next to it. All right, cool. But yeah, that is the best of both worlds. I mean, what was so this LA to Atlanta, like when were you in transition where you was like going from LA and back to Atlanta before you made the permanent move?
Oh, well, we never permanently moved. We always had our houses here in Atlanta. So my mom and dad, they moved us out, like I said, when I was 10, my brother was like 8 or 9.
Okay.
We went to LA, but we never sold our house. We never completely uprooted. We just went out there on a whim. My dad kind of gave us like, I think 3 to 6 months. I think it was 6 months to, if we don't get a show or something to keep us out there and make some money. My dad's like, we're going back home. And we went out there on a whim, and we were just constantly booking stuff from the time we went out there till now. So it was pretty cool story because, like I said, it was a countdown. My dad every month was like, all right, we got 2 more months, we got 3 more months, like. And then, my brother got, my brother ended up getting, I got The Lion King at the Pantages Theater.
Okay.
When I was 10 years old, so that kept us out there for a year because that contract was for 1 year. So I was doing live Broadway, had never done it before in my life. Doing that for a year, and then towards the end of that, we were planning on going back home to Atlanta. My brother ended up getting That's So Raven, and then I got Zoey 101, and then it was like a bunch of different commercials and guest starring roles. So pretty much, yeah, from the time I was 10 years old till now, we've been in California.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, when you explain how you got your first role when you was 10, right, with The Lion King. Now, we interviewed Jason Weaver, and he talked to us about Lion King role and everything with it.
My boy.
Shouts out to Jason.
Yeah.
Did your parents set up the same type of deal for you with The Lion King, or was it structured, or was it not the same?
Well, no. So his situation was way different, obviously, because his was for the movie, right? So him for being the movie, it was different outcome with that. But for mine, it was just it was Broadway. So there's a bunch of us that actually did it. We kind of have this cool little club of people like Leon Thomas. He was also young Simba in The Lion King in New York. Jordan Calloway, who's on Chicago Fire and all those. Yep. He was actually young Simba with me on The Lion King there. Chelsea Tavares, she was Nala. Lisa Tucker, she was on my show, Zoey 101. She went on to be American Idol as well. She was there. So it was like a really small group of kids that kind of all started from there, but it was every day. It taught me a great work ethic and how to be on point every day because we worked 6 days a week except every day but Monday, essentially, right? So we were on set every day, and that was for a whole year straight. With 1 day off.
Really?
And yeah, 10 years old. So it was
at 10?
So
how many hours a day of work was it though?
You get there like So like Monday through Friday, or Tuesday through Friday, I think it was, you get there around like 12, 1 o'clock p.m. But you know, you're doing school, then you got to do rehearsal, then you got to go do the show at night, and then on Saturday and Sundays there would be a matinee show and then an evening show. So we always had 2 Simbas, 2 Nalas, 2 Mufasas, whatever, right? So we alternated on the weekends, but we all had to be there, right? So even though we weren't technically performing, like let's say if I performed the matinee on Saturday, I perform at, you know, noon, but then I wouldn't perform at the night show unless Jordan got sick, then it would be me, right? And then on Sunday it'd be vice versa. I would perform the night show, he would perform the morning show. But during the week, you know, you're there every day. You know, even if you're not on stage, you're there. But that was where I learned how to sign my autograph. That's where I learned how to take photos, and where I learned how to talk to the fans and like stuff like that. Met a lot of cool people there too.
Okay. So, and these are going to be 2 questions from a totally outside perspective. So, with Lion King that you worked on, is that the same thing today as Lion King on Broadway?
Yeah.
It's the same.
Same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
Yeah. So then LA had a very big production. So the Pantages Theater right there in Hollywood, it was there for got to be over 10 years, right? And it was pretty much, you know, you got New York, you have London, and then LA was the other big one. So you know, it was probably the most fun experience I ever had, because that was my first time being able to meet like all the real big celebrities, and you know, you'd be backstage and like Jim Carrey walks in, you know what I mean? Or Chris Tucker walks in and wants to meet us, meet the cast, or like, you know, so that was like the first real like, okay, we're in Hollywood now, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay, now this is going to be a little fast forward in time, but still about the theater. Othello with Denzel Washington, produced by Candy right now. First, have you saw the show?
I have not. No, I haven't.
Okay. 2, are you a person to read the reviews of the show before it happens?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Like, especially with theater.
Okay.
Because I think that there's being a part of a theater production, I understand that, you know, sometimes people will go, they may see a performer or someone who had a performance that even the performer themselves probably didn't feel like they did their best, right? But then they might come back tomorrow and kill it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So the one thing about plays is like, you kind of, when you get in the theater, you have to understand that that's a whole different ball game. It's not like, it's not, you know, like a scripted, I mean, it's not a scripted television series, it's not a movie. It's like from the beginning to the end, everybody has to be on point.
Yes.
Everybody got to have their, you know, their spots on the stage down. They got to have their timing down. Like, so to me, it taught me like readiness and to be prepared. Because like I said, I was doing that at 10 years old, you know, and having to be out there every day and be on point. And then also to feel like you have the perfect show, and the producers come back and go, hey, look, we have a few notes. You know, you missed this spot over here, or you were high on this note over here, or and then having to process that at 10 to know, okay, I gotta put everything they told me into play tomorrow, right? Or you know, or the next day, or whatever. So it was I wouldn't read the reviews if it were me. Like I would go because I see who's in it, right? And I see like, okay, like the storyline is cool. Like I want to just go experience it, you know, because. Even for me, when I first booked The Lion King, I kind of owe like the guys like Jason Weaver and all these guys too, because I knew the songs as a kid. Like everybody knew all the songs, right? But I never sang, didn't dance, didn't do any of that. But I went in and they loved, you know, my energy. They loved how I was singing the songs. But it was only because I watched the movie 500,000 times as a kid. So when I went there and I ended up getting it, I didn't want to do it. Like I told my mom, like, I don't want to do this. I was like, they're probably gonna have me wearing like tights and like da-da-da, like, cause I'm thinking like play is like ballet, right? Like I'm a kid.
Yeah.
And honestly, I went in there like my mom and dad were just like, just see it, because they gave us all passes, my whole family passes to watch the show. After I ended up getting it, they gave us passes to watch the live show. And the first day, I was like, oh my God, this looks so much fun. I was like, I want to do this. I want to do it now. And my mom and dad were like, yeah, I bet. I'm like, you're flying up in the air and you get to do all kind of fun stuff. So yeah, I was hooked right after the first show.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, because I actually, obviously, Candy from Atlanta, and also I've heard mixed reviews about the show because obviously the selling theme is right. It got Denzel acting live.
Yeah.
But then also they say the show is not that good. From some reviews, and these are from people that I've gotten, a chance to go see plays with that buy the memberships that can go to both. Yes. Okay. So that's why.
So they're a little bit more credible than most.
Correct. So I wanted to put that out there because you know something about that, obviously. Yeah. Okay. So plays are typically is more of like, that's where you get your real acting in, your acting practice in before you step to like a movie role. Because typically a lot of these actors start off in theater, right? That's where it starts.
I would say this, a lot of the GOATs.
A lot of the GOATs, okay.
A lot of the GOATs.
Gotcha.
A lot of actors didn't start off in it.
Okay.
A lot of the GOATs did. The James Earl Joneses, the Denzels, the Morgan Freemans, what's his name, the William Dafoe, like these guys, they started in Broadway, in theater, and then they went on to transition. But I understand now why. Like being a part of that world first, I think for me was great because when I got on set, it would be directors and producers are always like, oh man, you always have your lines down packed, man, thank you so much. Like you were ready, you were prepared, but it's like, I was under the gun every day, at 10 years old, right? Like doing like singing, having vocal lessons in the mornings, then rehearsals in the afternoon, then a show at night, so for me it was like, it definitely sharpens your skills, all right? Yeah.
Now, having that pressure on you, did you ever experience, racism in that space in theater?
No, but fortunately for me, right, my first, like a lot of people don't know this, but the Lion King Broadway is like pretty much an all black cast.
Really?
Yeah, so like if you ever go see the Lion King, it's, they did a really good job of keeping it very authentic with like the African culture.
Yes.
Way different than the movie, right? Like, obviously the movie takes place in Africa, but like you don't get to see the black faces, right? So like with the show, the live show, it's very much all black cast, all black ensemble. So it was. No, I didn't see none of that.
Okay.
There.
All right, cool. Had to ask.
Yeah, I was surrounded by a bunch of us. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, and speaking on like being in the limelight, things like that, now you pretty much been in the industry pretty much your whole life.
Yeah.
So you've seen the quote unquote evil side of the industry. What's your thoughts on what's going on with Diddy?
I would definitely like to not comment on any of that.
Okay.
I think it's just crazy times that we're all living in, and I think that social media, I think that everything makes a spectacle of everything, and I feel like I don't want to be a part of talking about anything that has to do with anybody else, just due to the fact that, a lot of stuff can be taken, twisted, moved. So
and I guess I say to that, like outside view, people would look at that from people that are notable, right? They would look at that as you're not speaking up for women and or for victims.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about people that think that?
Well, that's the reason why a lot of people don't say anything, and then the people that do say things, with the internet and social media, no matter what, you're gonna be on somebody's shit list, right? Whether you speak up, whether you don't, whether you say this, whether you say that. All I can say respectfully is like, I don't know anything about it. Like I'm not really, I try to stay in my own lane, in my own space.
Okay.
That's just like what I like to do.
Yeah. So we can confirm you weren't at the Diddy parties.
So we can confirm you weren't at the Diddy parties is crazy. I'll say that I have been to many Bad Boy or Diddy functions that were out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's Coachella ones. Right? So, like, I think the main thing is here is like, okay, there's a lot of people that have been to, you know, Puff Daddy parties, right?
Correct.
But I think that, you know, when you say that, people will be like, oh, so, oh, you must have it. It's like, nah, I ain't seen none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was partying on the dance floor and went home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what it is.
Yeah, that's the typical thing. Now you ask every celebrity, like, nah, I left before that started.
But you know what, though? Like, that's the thing, though. Like, for me, I've always felt like the people that say, like, oh, I ain't never been there, and it's like, a lot of them, I've been like, well, I see you. I see, like,
so they lying?
Just say you weren't
people
there.
are lying, talking about they not there.
Well, because
nobody's going to admit that each other was there.
But it's because everyone is scared to say, like, they went somewhere or they did something because they don't know what the climate is. People are going to be like, oh, you saw this, you did this. But it's like, I feel like it's a responsibility for most people to at least be able to say, like, hey, I was there. I didn't see any of this. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I was hanging out with my friends. I hung out with my peoples. We had fun. We left. That was it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's okay to say that. Right. Yeah. But it's not okay to say, oh, I wasn't there. I don't know him. And it's like, okay, bro, like his technology. We got video and photos of him, my boy.
And I'm sure at those parties they had advanced technology back then. Yeah, I mean, because it was a thing. It was one of the bigger things.
Yeah, I mean, you know, praying for everyone involved.
Yes. Well, one last thing, like I told everybody, like I told people talking about the Diddy case, I'm like, at one point, we all were aspiring to go to a Diddy party. Like that, he had parties after the Grammys, after any big show, big award, or big event, it was a Diddy party. Yeah. So the term is loosely now, but back then, that's what people look forward to. Yeah. Like, hey, I'm about to go to Diddy's after party. Yeah. No, prominent people. Yeah. Oh, so, a lot. Yeah, so I totally get that. Mm-hmm. So let's get into it. You are the older brother of Kyle Massey. Yeah. Correct? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now he's reached a little bit more stardom, if you will do. You know, it felt like him being a bigger brother, you were in the shadows a bit. Do you think so?
Well, I'm the older brother.
Okay, you're the older brother. I wanted to make sure I got that right.
Yeah, no, I think, I think we both had a crazy run. I mean, still to this day, we're the only siblings to be nominated for an Emmy in the same category, but on different shows, right? So, and when I say that, a lot of people are like, well, what about this? But you got to think like Tia and Tamara, they were on the same show. Mm-hmm. You know, Mary-Kate and Ashley, same show. Like everyone else on the same show. We were the only brothers that were on two separate shows nominated for an Emmy in the same category. Now, we both lost, but we were both Emmy nominated. But
I was never Emmy nominated. So that's a goal.
No, I think that, you know, his level of fame and success was always for the both of us, it was always a yin and a yang, right? It was like he had the #1 show on Disney, I had the #1 show on Nickelodeon. So it was like we never looked at it like how other people looked at it, but we were just enjoying the benefits of having both. You know what I mean? Like I loved it because when the Disney Channel games happened, or when I grew up on the set of That's So Raven, right? So I would be behind the scenes during pretty much every episode. You know what I mean? Like I'd be backstage, I'd be working the camera, like I'd be working the boom mic. Like I was a kid who got a chance to really experience life on set, the set of That's So Raven. So for me, we never looked at it like that, but I thoroughly loved being behind the scenes on the set of That's So Raven because it was the most fun set of all time.
Because your brother got a spinoff show. Yeah. And so, you know, from the outside looking in, he kind of got the spinoff show, and maybe did work slow down for you, or was it look like work slowed down for you at that time? Well, getting a spinoff.
You gotta look at it like this, right? So a lot of people will say that like did work slow down, but a lot of the people a lot of them will contest to this. Like when you grow up doing shows since you were 10, 11, you know what I mean, all the way up until you're 20, 21. Like the work slowing down technically did not. What happened was you get your money, you get your, you know what I'm saying, you got your spot now, you got, you know, the girls, you got like, you want to go out and party. So what happens is we all take a break, you know, right? Like even Dylan and Cole, like we all stepped away from it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I know to everyone else, it's like, well, why didn't you just keep doing this and keep doing this? I mean, we had, you know, our agents, our managers are like, what are you doing? You got like 3 auditions tomorrow. You have this meeting with this. And I'm like, look, I want to just chill, like relax. Like I get it. I'll go do it. But like, let me just go hang out with my friends, go to the beach. Like, let me just go. Because when you go back and you look at it, it's like every single solitary day of your life from 10 to 21 has been on a schedule that everyone is like, you gotta be here, you gotta be here. Oh, it's Saturday? Oh, you thought you were just gonna hang out? Nah, we have a movie premiere. And then after the movie premiere is the after party. Then on Sunday morning, you have to go to the children's hospital and we're gonna go and do, you know, so our itinerary every day was just like boom, 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 boom. So by the time you get to the age where you can make your own decisions or kind of feel like, you know what, I don't have to go there, or I can, or the first time you tell them like, you know, I don't wanna go, and they'll be like, okay, that's fine. And you're like, oh, I can do that? Because I didn't know I could do that for all these years. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know I could say, I don't feel like going. Like, you know what I mean? So I think that's what kind of happens. But then like now it's like, I just did BMF and doing other stuff. Like now I'm in the space where I can kind of, you know, control where I want to be, what I want to do, and take this script and say, okay, I like this one, but I don't like this one, or I don't want to audition for this, I'd rather audition for this, or I'd rather read for this person. So it's like, I think now it's kind of more having the ball in your court to be able to make the moves you want to make is really where it's at. Like it was never really like work slowed down. I think if anything, we kind of slowed it down for ourselves. In a sense, yeah.
It's like you taking the control back, obviously.
And sometimes, like, you know what though, like as an adult now, like sometimes I think back like, I should have just did that, or I should have just did this show that I didn't want to do because I just wanted to hang out, right? But I also had some of the most fun memories and most fun times being able to do whatever I wanted to for that length of time as well. So I don't regret anything, but you know, that's really kind of where it came from.
Okay. Now, you know, you were on Zoey 101, right, for all 4 seasons. You were 15, 16 at that time?
Yeah, 14 when we started,
Okay. Yeah. And at that time of filming the first season, what was it like going into that? Because at this point, That's So Raven was only on Disney for a few years with your brother.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a whirlwind. Like for us, I was actually on the set of That's So Raven when I found out I got Zoey 101. I was walking through the halls, me and Blaze, Raven's little brother, R.I.P. my brother. Me and Blaze we were just chilling, playing basketball, and my mom came running down the hallway. She was like, you got that show, you booked it, you booked that show. And I'm like, what show? Because you know, at that time we auditioned like, 10 times a week. So we don't even know what show did we get. We're just like, which one? The one that's supposed to film in Malibu? Okay, cool. So I didn't know what it was supposed to be. I didn't know anything. We went out, we did it. But after the first season, we filmed at Pepperdine in Malibu. When I knew it was big was when I would come to the set of That's So Raven, because they used to have a live audience on every Friday, which used to be my favorite times to go. So on Fridays we go, they have a live audience, they watch the show's tape, and all the laughs that you hear are real audience laughter. And it was one day I came in and the entire audience started screaming for me, like screaming my name, like, oh my God, can we get a picture? Can we get it? And then the executives at Disney were like, yo, you gotta get him out of here. Like he can't just be over here taking pictures with, because it's a Disney set, right? And it's like, even though me and my brother don't have beef, but they're like, yo, we can't just have, we know it's your brother, but like, we can't just have Nickelodeon guys just stealing the show right now.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the first time where when I really seen it, when the audience was kind of like, oh shit, like, because before I was just chilling.
So, speaking on your brother again, now being that your brother was on the #1 show, #1 Disney show ever made. And then, what was that like in the house? Was that treatment different in the house? Cause no special treatment at all.
Never,
brothers.
My dad's name is Mike Massey. He ain't going for that.
Okay.
No, my dad is a Marine. He was very strict, stern with us, but very fun, very loving, very like my dad is where we get all of our like comedy from, right? But he never, when we come home, it was always like we were kids. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people didn't get that, but for us it was, because my dad's like, look, when you come home, you're doing all the stuff you're supposed to do. You're gonna take out the trash, you're gonna clean the pool, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do whatever me and your mom tell you to do, that's what you're gonna do when you get home. So for us, we never had like no special treatment whatsoever.
Well, shout out to your parents.
Yeah, when it came to that, nah, not at all.
So jumping back into Zoey 101, the show ended, but what was the exact reason for the ending? I know Jamie Spears got pregnant, but she said that was not the reason.
I mean, yeah, no, what was I, like 17, 18 when it ended? You know, it was bittersweet for all of us, but there was talks of like, okay, we might not come back next season. You know what I mean? And then it was in the air that we might. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing a lot of people don't understand when it comes to TV shows, stuff like that. Even some of people's favorite TV shows in the world, they're like, we were left, you know, wondering what was next. But that's how that industry works. You know what I mean? You never know. You know, you could be on a show like Law and Order where you just go forever, or you could be on a show where it ends in 4 seasons or 5 seasons, or, you know, some end in 2 or 3. You know, so when it happened, you know, we were all just kind of like, we all had our big last cry and big moment on that last episode. So where we all kind of knew we might not come back or not. You know what I mean? So when people try to blame it on the pregnancy, it's like, I don't know. Like, I can't say that it was because of the fact that we all accepted the fact that we might not see each other on that last day before her pregnancy was ever even, you know, brought up. Yeah.
So I have to ask a question about the element of the culture in that space where you're shooting sitcoms, you're with multiple actors, you got a lead actor, you know, obviously the supporting cast. How is it, because I think about that like with football, you know, after the game is over, everybody get that game check. How is that in the kid space? Like, is that like, oh, you get that? Like, how was the checks? How did the network handle who got paid what, or y'all had knowledge of who gets paid what? Was there ever any drama to that?
It always varies with any project that you do. That just goes with anything, like, right? Some shows are favorite nations, some shows are not. Some shows have a lead star that gets paid more, some show doesn't. That kind of always varies on like what your team or what your cast come up with. Right? Like sometimes you have a show that's favorite nations. That means everybody on the show gets paid the same.
Really?
Yeah. And then some shows you got where there's a star who's like, this is what I want to get paid, and I don't really know what they getting paid, but this my number.
Do you have an example of a show that everybody gets paid the same?
Friends.
Friends?
Yeah. Everybody on Friends, what they did was they went inside, they were all trying to renegotiate their contracts. And this is something that, you know, our people should really try to start looking into too. But they were all trying to renegotiate their contracts, and they were like, they didn't know what each person was getting paid or whatever. So what they did was they said, well, look, we got the hottest show in the world right now. Let's all go in together and tell them we want $1 million an episode. Because here's the thing, when the star goes in and says, I want $1 million an episode, and the rest of the people are like, I'll take 50,000, I'm chilling. You know what I'm saying? Now, that's when you get that friction where it's like, well, he's not budging off his $1 million, and everyone else over here saying they were cool. But when they did that, they went into the production office and they granted it to him, right? They granted them all the same pay, $1 million an episode. So, but that's how you do when you want to work as a unit.
Right.
They go, hey, look, like we could all sit and bicker about what we gonna get paid behind closed doors, or we can all go in there together and be like, look, cut the check for all of us, and we'll give you the best show you ever had. And that's what they did.
And you know what? I'm definitely optimistic of that belief. But my challenge would be is you think that would happen to a show like Martin? They go to the network and because Friends was an all-white show, right? You go to an all-black show, which is probably good for your example, and they go and say, yeah, we need $1 million. Martin making this much. Martin on the board with us, and he want everybody to get $1 million. You think that would happen that way?
I would say the number probably would change.
Okay.
It probably wouldn't be the same number, but yeah, it would. But it's because of the fact that what happens is most times in film and television, the production company or the producers or the network, they know who their star is. Okay, it's like when you got the Jamie Foxx show, we know who the star is. It's Jamie Foxx, right?
Yeah.
But if that person or Will Smith, right, like let's say Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, if he comes in and says, hey, look, I'm only gonna do the next season if everybody is making this amount of money, they're gonna say yes because they want the show to keep going. But the only way it doesn't happen is if the star is okay with what he getting paid and somebody else says, I want more.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Because now it's like, well, do we really need him? Like, we got Will. You know what I'm saying? Like, can we do without him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's how it kind of works. It's like, as long as you keep that, I mean, and just to put it in your perspective with like football, right? It's the same with Tom Brady. Right? Tom Brady has never been the highest paid player in the NFL. Right? He's never been because he said, I'll take a pay cut to get all the right pieces around me to win. Right? And it's the same thing. It's like you can put that same mentality in anything when there's the star, right? The star can make arrangements to say, hey, look, well, you're going to pay me $180 million. Just give me 60 and pay him to be here so we can win. I'll get my money on the back end.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
because the value of Tom Brady is so much bigger than a salary.
Yeah, he's getting paid more now commentating football than he ever played playing football.
Yep.
Right? But he's only getting that amount of money because he won 7 rings and he's Tom Brady.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So sometimes you got to win, take a little cut to win, so you can get it on the back end.
And see, that's where my little challenge is. Like Tom Brady, also a white man. You know, like we can make that. I agree with you in some senses. My only challenge to the idea, not that you believe it, but my challenge to that is it still is very different when it comes down to the race of, because sometimes they feel like we're disposable, right?
Well, LeBron did it in Miami. Okay. Remember, he went there. He was like, "Look, y'all ain't got to pay me. Just pay D Wade and Chris Bosh or whoever else what they want, and I'll come down here."
Well, let's be real clear. That was D Wade's house.
Okay.
So he didn't mind doing, and they were already best of friends. So I'm pretty sure they sat on the yacht and plotted that out.
And I think also Florida has like minimal tax.
Correct.
Something like that too.
Correct.
So even though he got a pay cut, he was still getting all that bread.
Correct. LeBron taking a pay cut, he can make that up somewhere else. He could just show up to a couple functions and make up $20 million. You know, that's LeBron. So okay, cool. I guess I just think about that in that perspective of just black and white. Like a lot of things, you know. Sometimes we got to fly to what they can walk to.
That's true.
That's true. And that's just how it is.
That's true.
So going back to the sitcoms, like with a lot of these sitcoms in the early 2000s, whether it was Nickelodeon or Disney, it almost felt like they had to fill a black quota, or it's kind of felt like that with you. It felt like that with you and Zoey one-on-one, being like the token black friend. Did you ever feel that way?
It's so funny. Me and my brother, we always talk about this because I'm like, the craziest thing is like, imagine 2 brothers, one household. One of them is on an all-black show with 1 white cast member, which is Chelsea. And then I'm on an all-white show and it's just me, right? But it was like, we laugh at it, but it's like, it's those little things where it's like, we kind of have to like, you take what you get, right? It's like, I enjoyed being on the set though. I never felt like I was the token black person. But my cousin used to always call me that. My cousin Sean. He used to be like, token.
Then Kanye made it more famous.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it's like, it happens how it happens. And, you kind of roll with it. But for me, I will say that I had the most fun being on Zoey 101. I think like I love every last one of my cast members, like family. You know, I still talk to them. We all in a group chat together, and we all check on each other. So, for me, it didn't feel probably how it looked. I guess if that makes any sense for most people, but yeah.
Now, I do want to. I'm going to ask. I'm throwing in a personal question in here because you worked in that era. Did you ever run into Jet Jackson or knew about it? Like what? How was he? Because he ended up passing away from suicide. But that used to be that was a good show where the black boy was a main character.
Man, listen.
How do you feel about just that whole era and what you kind of knew about?
He was a very quiet dude. He was very quiet. He was laid back. Man, yeah, that's weird that you even asked me about him in particular. But yeah, like even all that stuff kind of surrounding what happened to him was very hard for us to kind of like swallow in a sense, because he was chill, he was kind of laid back, he kind of kept to himself. But where he ended up passing away, my friend, we used to see him all the time because he lived in that apartment building, and my friend stayed there, so we used to see him all the time. And I don't know, he was a good dude. That whole thing still to this day is like one of those ones that we all kind of couldn't just accept.
Scratching your head a little bit,
maybe, but hopefully they dig into that and find a little bit more out of what happened in there.
Yeah, I just thought to ask you about him because that was kind of around, your time, and I think he gets kind of put in the back burner a little bit when we mention all the shows. I'm like, Jet Jackson was
he was
a decent show. I don't know if it maybe the numbers may not match up to that, but I think from my perspective, Jet Jackson was a great show.
He even had Beyonce as his girlfriend on there one time.
Really?
Yeah, you can go back and look.
So Jet Jackson had Beyonce as his girlfriend.
Yeah. Beyonce was on the famous Jet Jackson.
Look at Beyonce sneaking in there.
No, facts. Yeah, he was a cool dude, bro. Like, and even when I heard it, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't believe it. I was
I couldn't believe it either. Yeah.
But yeah, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he was doing a show, something Rossi.
He was doing like one of those. It was something with a cop, right?
Like a law, something like that.
He kind of like resurfaced a little bit. So he must have been chilling on that Disney because I'm sure he made some money off that. He was the only actor, right? It was like him and a bunch of extras all the time.
Basically,
it was just like him,
he was on a new set
solving a crime. He was just like solving crime.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. So how was it working at Nickelodeon? I know there was a huge thing about obviously the documentary, thing with producer Dan Schneider and your mom defending them, but also coming out and saying you have a story to tell. What does that story look like? Do you think black child actors were treated differently in Nickelodeon in the 2000s, on and off camera? And how was that experience?
Well, so what all I can say is that, is you can only tell your truth, right? You can only tell your side of things. Like, and we've always been the type of people to where it's like, I always give people like my experiences, right? Yep. So it's very easy, especially in the climate today, for everyone to jump on a bandwagon if someone's saying something negative about someone, or someone's saying someone did something bad. But for me, if I didn't see it or if I didn't know about it, I can't say that I've seen it, right? I can't make up saying that I've seen something just because of the fact that everyone said that it happened, right? So for me, I never experienced it. Like on my set, it was all love. It was always fun. It was always a good vibe, so that's all I can really speak on, all that stuff with that in particular.
Okay. All right. So I guess I want to jump into, so now you actually have 2 kids.
I got 3, yeah.
You got 3 kids?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so you got 3 kids. Yeah. Are they wanting to follow in your footsteps?
Yes and no. A couple of them do. But it's funny. It's like now the kids are not really wanting to be on television. They kind of want to be more like streamers or YouTube stars. Right? So like now it's kind of funny because when I was a kid, I would watch movies like Little Giants and Sandlot, and I was like, I want to do that. You know what I mean? Like I want to ride around on a go-kart and do all this like fun stuff. And but for them, it's just more like I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a streamer, I want to do this. So it's like, yeah, I guess they're kind of in the realm of that, but they want to do it in a different way, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, they're definitely interested in it, but I'm letting them kind of choose their path as they get older.
Yeah, because that's why I was going to lead into asking, is that something you want them to do, knowing how the industry is as a parent?
If it was, I've said this before, but if it was, if they got a chance to experience everything that I got to experience, I would be more than like supportive of it, right? But I think that also the double-edged sword of it is like your privacy is gone forever. Right, and what I mean by that is like, if I drive out of here right now and I go get a DUI, all of y'all are gonna know about it tomorrow. Right. When the average person, I'm not saying DUIs are bad. You shouldn't go do that anyway, right? But what I'm saying is, if someone slipped up and had a mistake, that mistake will be broadcasted. No matter what. I could be 50 years old. And they're gonna be like, former Nickelodeon star, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be forever, right?
So, all you ever labeled as.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that it takes a very strong-minded person to navigate through life with that over your head, always. And sometimes it's fun. Most of the time it's fun, but sometimes it's not, right? Because it's little stuff that you wish that you could keep to yourself, or there's little stuff that you kind of wish they're like, okay, well, this was a slip up, or this didn't happen at all, right? You know what I'm saying? Right. But people think it happened because TMZ posted it, right? So there's that, and then there's always like the people that just come out and make just straight up lies. You know what I mean? Like that is probably the scariest part of it, of anything. Is just like, you could wake up and it'd be a story you're like, what the, who, what happened? Wait, when?
Because the truth is, if the lie is good enough, it becomes the truth.
They don't care about the truth when the lie sounds amazing.
Exactly.
Right? You know what I mean? So, there's stuff like that, right? Where you don't wish that on your kids. You know what I mean? But the fun side of it and the fruits of your labor and being able to travel the world and meet people that you've idolized, or to work with people that you idolize, then I would love that for them, but it's a lot more that comes with it than just the glitz and the glamour side of it.
Okay. Random question. Who is the best rapper actor to you?
DMX.
Ooh, that's cold. Why?
Very fast answer. DMX. But honestly, Tupac was also like a really good actor.
Yeah,
as
he
well.
was.
But the reason why I said DMX so fast too is because he is my favorite rapper.
Okay.
Of all time.
Yeah, for sure. Right? Yep.
The GOAT.
Yes.
The greatest.
Yes. I got suspended in elementary school for bringing flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood.
You want to know something
class.
so funny about that?
Yep.
We moved to New York for like 6 months when we were kids. It was before we even moved to California. We went out there to pursue. We had a agent who had us out there to like do some commercials or whatever. We went out there. That's like Canal Street, my mom and all that. So like, my mom was looking at little trinkets and stuff, trying to buy little gifts and stuff or whatever for everybody back home. And I was sitting right there looking at the CDs. And I'm like, the guy's like 2 for $5, 2 for $5, 2 for $5. So I'm like, Mom, can I get $5? I'm trying to get 2 CDs. So my mom's like, yeah, here. She just gives me $5. She doesn't see what I'm looking at, what I'm buying. The first album I ever bought was My Flesh and My Blood, right? I'm probably like, like 7, 8. I'm like young. Like, I bought that one, and then I bought the Rough Riders CD because I'm in New York. I bought the Rough Riders one and then that one. And I remember like the dude put him in the little black bag, you know what I'm saying? Well,
Yep.
so me knowing my parents, because I remember the little parental advisory sticker, I'm like, damn, if they see this shit, I'm over with.
Absolutely.
So like I told him, I was like, can I get this one too? I think it's like a Mariah Carey or some shit. He was like, go ahead, little man. I'm like, bet. So like I was like, I put the DMX CD in the Mariah Carey one, and then the Rough Rider ones didn't have the parental advisory thing, so I kept that one, but I threw the cover because I'm like, the cover is him covered in blood.
Nah,
I was like, if she sees this, it's over. She don't
Absolutely.
even care about the parental advisory thing.
Absolutely.
She gonna be like, nah, throw this shit out. So I was like, but even as a kid, I was like quick with it, like put the Mariah Carey CD in, boom, close it, throw that shit out. But yeah, that was my first CD ever, and then the first song that I ever heard was Bring Your Whole Crew.
Oh my God.
So that's the worst song.
It's the worst
ever.
song.
And still to this day, I know every word to that song because I was like 7 years old, bro. And I was like, and I remember when I first put it on, I'm like, oh my God, the first words. You already know the first words.
Man.
I'm not gonna repeat it, but I'm like, oh my God. Like I just remember
DMX was ruthless.
I was like turning it down, like I don't want my mom to hear this shit off. But yeah, that's so funny. Yeah,
Well, it's funny. You did it better than I did. I took the whole damn CD case to class.
Oh yeah. You were
walked
tripping.
in the gym line. I'm showing everybody, look, I got the new DMX.
Mm-hmm.
And he had all that blood on him. So back then, it wasn't no internet or nothing. They were trying to censored us from basically everything.
Everything, yeah.
So
Facts.
once you saw that black sticker, they didn't even let you buy it in the store.
Yeah.
And Target and
All
Kmart
edited.
they only sold edited music.
Yeah, and
that's
Walmart
how
too.
old we are. Yeah, Walmart too.
used to be all edited.
So you had to go to like FYE or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
Warehouse music.
Yeah, I got in trouble for that DMX album.
Sure. I got mine straight off the the streets of New York.
Yep.
2 for $5.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, let me get that.
Crazy thing is, I got in trouble with my dad's CD.
Oh,
so I took his CD, got in trouble, got it taken away. He mad because
you
CD
took
got
his.
taken.
Yeah, it's like everybody mad at you.
The album like what, $20?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a little upset. That's funny.
Yeah, no, DMX to me is just one of the best.
Favorite child actor. I mean, favorite rapper actor. That's your favorite rapper actor.
Yeah. But I'm biased,
okay.
right? Like I am. But I mean, I did love Romeo Must Die. I love like Cradle to the Grave. Like those are hit movies too.
Yeah.
A lot of people sleep on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Belly.
Right?
Like, come on, like he got some classics. Like people don't.
He does.
Everyone talks about because like I said, Tupac is definitely like right there. Like it's pretty much them two for me.
So what? Belly or Juice? You gotta pick one. Gun to your head.
That's a great. Honestly, I would go with Juice over Belly or Juice.
Okay.
Only because of the fact that, like, I feel like the whole thing was like a dope concept.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then Tupac's acting was like top tier. You know what I'm saying? Like top tier in that one.
Okay.
But Belly, I love Belly, but like when it comes to like the art. Like the art part of Belly, I like it was shot like really dope, like a music video. I love the opening scene.
Correct.
Like all that shit's dope, but like when you get into like the story, the plot, the acting, everything all together,
it was a little regular, but you kind of forgave that because of the, like you said, the optics, right? The cinematography, should we say?
Yeah.
All right. So I know we jumped right there. We went into a little hole with DMX, but I appreciate sharing your experiences. So go back to talking about a little bit about your acting career and experiences you had. Jamie Lee Spears is the sister of Britney Spears, and we see what's going on with her and everything. Is that something you all ever talked about? Did you ever get a chance to meet Britney?
Oh yeah, Britney was always on the set.
Okay.
Yeah, she was always on the set. Like, we spent a lot of time. She was always there. She would come. She would pop in, pop out. There was always like paparazzi everywhere whenever she would come to the set. But no, I mean, we love Britney and always praying for Britney, and like that's all I have.
Have you run into her recently?
No. I mean,
no?
I'm taking care of the kids and handling business. You know
right.
what I mean? But
she seems to pop up randomly, like dancing like Shakira on the internet. So like,
hey, she living her life.
Yeah, but I always say, those child. I think her, Justin Bieber. Like they just doing everything they kind of just wanted to do. We all had our stages where we was having fun and just. I think they didn't get a chance to.
I
And
just
now
think that a lot
weird.
of people don't understand like what. I think it's very easy for people to be like, why is this person doing this or why is this person doing that? But like until you have the experience of wanting to, like even what I was saying earlier, just live your life the way you want to live it. Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody else on earth can do that.
Right.
Except people in the limelight.
Right.
Right? Like, that's all I have to say about that.
Well, I was gonna ask you, did you see because I did like the moments SZA and Justin Bieber had. Did you see that clip going around? So they got a moment on stage where Justin Bieber, he's known for like really loving the Snooze song by SZA.
Oh yeah.
And he's done many renditions of it. He sang it live without her too.
Yeah.
And,
produced by my brother, Leon Thomas.
Yep, Charles Leon Thomas. And he's in the video and stuff. But he was at this concert in LA.
Yeah.
It was in LA. They
Coachella,
brought out Justin Bieber.
Oh, okay.
And he had a moment with SZA where he was like really like in a trance to the song. And then you could tell SZA kind of, leaned him up and then he kissed her palm. He spinned around and then they went down on stage singing. It seemed like a special moment.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like he was really back into like himself. So that's where I question like, people really judging, these kid stars in whatever capacity, music or acting, when they transition to adulthood, like it don't look weird. It's just that they never got a chance to really do it.
Man. And for me to experience like what I've experienced on my own is separate from what I've had to experience being with my colleagues or my friends or people, right? Like Miley and Justin, right? Bieber. Yeah. So it's like when you go and experience. Even like I said on my set, we would film every day, but then when Britney come, there's paparazzi everywhere. One time there was some paparazzi dude like fell out of a car trying to follow her and like broke his leg, right? Like we're watching these people like crazy, this way, Britney, and it's like imagine, like I tell everyone, I said, close your eyes and imagine you right now, you're going to Publix. You go to Publix just to go get some ground beef, go get some taco shells, right? some cheese, whatever. You're gonna make tacos. As soon as you step out the car, they're like, yo, this way. They knock your girl over. They're like, yo, they're scratching your car up, right? Like imagine, like people don't, they always say, well, that's what you chose to do. It's like, okay, but when you say that, it's kind of messed up for the people that, there's a lot of people that chose to be an actor, or there's a lot of people that love to do music, or like that love to play football, but they're not. Yes, if you love something and you're passionate about it, it doesn't mean that you should be stripped of your human rights.
Correct.
And your human right is basically the right to be able to go anywhere you want to go and enjoy Earth, right? Like there are people out there that will make it almost impossible for certain people to enjoy a daily thing. Yeah. Right? You know what I'm saying? And I was fortunate enough to where, me and my brother had our crazy times where people were screaming our names and doing all that. But we were lucky to the point where it wasn't on the scale of a Michael Jackson or a Justin Bieber, right? It was on a scale to where after these people kind of like grew out of it, it was kind of like, hey, you do from oh yeah, bro, I love that show. Like they might still dap you up and be like, hey, bro, I know who you are. Well, let's take a picture. But it's not like, and, you know what I'm saying, like trying to pull at your car door, right? Yeah. But when I'm around my peers that have to experience that, like I get it. I understand where it comes from, right? Because I can go to Publix, right? I can go to the gas station and go inside and grab a Gatorade and come back out. You know what I'm saying? And I know the people that are, unfortunately, they can't do that. And people say like, oh, they're weird, or oh, this person is acting, oh, he didn't want to take a picture. It's like, and I'm gonna say this too. This is for people who, I'm just gonna defend most celebrities that you might say didn't want to take a photo with you, or did you say it was acting, like fake, too big or fake or whatever. Yeah, right. Like, so I know this off a first-hand basis of like multiple people. You gotta think, a man is still a man, a woman is still a woman, right? That woman or that man might not want nobody to know that they're there. at that
Correct.
location.
That's
right?
probably the number one reason.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm just giving people some free game here because like you might be like, oh, I just saw whoever at boom boom boom. Let me take a picture with him, and he's like, no photos of me. I done already told my girl I'm at home. Like you got me outside. Like no, like because I know as soon as you take this picture, you're gonna post this immediately. Like you know what I'm saying? Like oh, I just saw him at the gas station. You know, and when you thinking of big celebrities, you know, they're telling, you know, it's a lot different. They might be supposed to be in New York.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's a photo of them in Miami.
And how quick information moves now, and like you said, post. You know, somebody could roll up, think it's, you know, their opportunity to be rich. They might want to,
exactly.
You know, we seen people get harmed, and all actors to rappers.
Or people are just getting out of their bed. They're rolling out the bed. They just want to go.
They just want to
grab
They
quick
just want to get. They just want to get some coffee. They just want to grab some wings here like you do.
Yeah.
I think most of the time when I see, you know, people obviously who are big in the public arenas out, like I tend to want to be that person that leaves them alone.
Yeah.
Because if they're here, they're probably comfortable being here. I don't want to be that person to ruin that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that person they talk about in every story they go tell their friends, you know.
I mean, because, you know, like I said, like if you roll out of bed and you say, I'm gonna go run up here real quick, and you got your sweats on, little sleep t-shirt.
Correct.
And now this girl's like, oh, I wanna take a picture with you, and you're like, not right now, can we do it another time? Like I look busted, like I didn't even expect to do this. Like so sometimes people just gotta put themselves in other people's, you know, and then especially nowadays with the internet, they'll post a picture of you looking crazy.
Look at how you look.
And then everybody gonna be like, oh man, she don't even look the same, or oh he don't even look, oh he looking dusty. Oh he probably broke. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, I just put on a dirty ass t-shirt and went down the street. Like I wasn't expecting to see you.
No, the judgment is heavy on celebrities. And unfortunately, it's an attribute you have to take. And well, not an attribute you have to take. It's a part of the job that you don't want to sign up for, but
for sure
you do.
Yeah. Locked in.
So I want to know, what's something dark about your child star world you wish more people understood? Like what's I mean, not dark, I'll say maybe dark is a little
dark
strong.
Is crazy word.
But what's some about, you know, just being a child star that people may not understand? I mean, being a child star is a lot of stress, you know. It's a lot of, you know, it's a new arena for a lot of kids, you know.
Yeah.
It could do damage. So just what's something that you would want people out there to know about being a child star, stuff that kids go through?
I think that, I think it's probably just the fact that most child stars, right, are making a substantial amount of money at a very young age, right? So I think that the one thing that's very important that I feel that probably most people should look into if they want to pursue it or if their kids want to pursue it is probably do, I mean, kind of what my parents did is probably the only reason why my brother and I never really fell down this rabbit hole of like, you know, bad things happening to us. But I think it's just keeping us clear and out of it as much as possible when you're out of it, right? It's like unplugging from the matrix. It's like when we weren't filming, we would either be doing like events or whatever, but when we didn't need to be in LA or we didn't need to be in Hollywood, like my parents would be like, all right, we're going back to Atlanta, right? Like when my show would wrap and then That's So Raven would wrap for my brother, we were packing our clothes, packing everything. All right, we're going back. Now, our place was still in LA, but we're not there. You know what I mean? Like, we're going back home because it gives you the perfect, like, grounding of, okay, yeah, you're a, you know, celebrity over here and you're doing this, but then, you know, you have to have that balance of knowing, like, this is reality, right? Because you can be, you know, people can look at you as like a prima donna or whatever because of the fact that, like, you gotta understand, when I was 10, 11 years old, I could, you know, ask for anything that I wanted on the set and there would be an adult to go get it for me, right? You know what I'm saying? So like, that is a weird dynamic when you have a 12-year-old that's essentially telling a grown man what to do. right? I could be like, hey, can you go get my phone? Hey, could you go get me pizza? Hey, could you, what do you want for lunch today? I think I'll have a blah, 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 right? So it's like being in a world where everything and everyone around you caters to you, and then leaving out of that world and then going to the regular world, people from the outside could look at it like, oh, or I've seen it happen with a lot of people because they don't know, but it's just second nature for them to be like, hey, could you go get my, boom, and they'll just say this to a random person that's next to them, and they're like, I ain't finna go get shit, bro. What the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Now they're bucking because they're like, they got me messed up, bro. Like, what? Like, I'm not finna. But they don't understand, like, in this person's world, that's reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, I was fortunate enough to where I learned that at a young age, right? It's like, my dad was like, okay, when you leave this set, ain't nobody else gonna get nothing for you. Get up, get off your ass and go get it, right? You're gonna go get it yourself. You're gonna bring it back, do whatever you need to do, but you're not gonna, this is reality, right? This is work, right? When you're at work, yes, you do have a set group of people that can be at your beck and call. But when you leave here, you're my son, you're a member of society, right? Like, so I think that's like, that's probably a very fine like thing that no one really talks about, to where a lot of child stars or like people that made a name for themselves pretty young, they kind of have that that little like
a little bit of entitlement. Almost.
Yeah, it's entitlement, but it's
an
like,
adopted entitlement.
And it's kind of unfortunate that some of them don't see it because of the fact that they had nobody like my dad who's like, motherfucker, I ain't gonna get you nothing. And he ain't either. Get your ass up and go get it, right? And it's like, but I appreciate it now because, like I said, I've been around people that have done that, and it's like, I get where this person's coming from, and I also get where this person's coming from because I had the balance of both.
I like that. And I think, and I asked, and I got two more questions, just one small one, as you talk about kind of your experiences in the past or experiences for people who are looking to put their kids in acting and or things you learn from being a child star, like Orlando Brown. We're seeing we're seeing his kind of trajectory from That's So Raven to now he's almost just this character outside of that's done some crazy things on camera, but also has been wholesome in some ways.
Well, I'll just say this. OB knows exactly what he's doing. And he's always called me and my brother his little brothers. And I will always love Orlando Brown because Orlando Brown he was he was always Orlando Brown. It's funny because a lot of people, and me and Raven, we talked about this as well, but it's like a lot of people look at this and be like, I can't believe he's doing this, doing that. It's like, we all knew Orlando Brown. Orlando Brown been talking crazy.
Wait, so he's been like this?
Yes, Orlando Brown, he did not change.
He was like this and That's So Raven?
There's just a camera in front of him now.
Gotcha.
So it's like, he's always been super funny.
Yeah.
Right, his time has always been funny. He's always been able to say and get away with a lot more than most people will ever be able to, right?
Yep.
But I think that, he's found his way of you know what I'm saying, like milking it and getting to the money, and I can't be mad at it. You know what I mean? But for me, he's always been he was influential in me and my brother's life. I will say that, just due to the fact that even with us doing music, we've always been interested in music, but Orlando was like the first person to have like a small little home studio on a laptop on the set of That's So Raven, like in his dressing room. He used to let us record in there, and like, like we would record songs in Orlando's dressing room, right? And Orlando wrote, music for a lot of people back then.
Really?
Yeah, he was doing.
Who he wrote music for?
He was doing song, but like Orlando would come back to the set and have like a song with like Marcus Houston, and then
Really?
Matter of fact, there's a Orlando Brown version of In the Club. Up in the club where we do things like throw our hands up.
Yeah.
There's an Orlando Brown version somewhere. I might have it at my house, but there's an Orlando Brown version of that song before it ever came out.
Nice. So and I know you speak about it. Like a lot of people know you're an artist as well. What are you doing musically?
Yeah, so like we do music. My brother and I, we have a label. We produce music as well. My brother's been killing it right now on the guitar. He picked up the guitar and he's really good now. So that's what we've been working on for the most part. But yeah, Big OB definitely played a part of that.
Okay. So when you got something going on, music-wise, let GAFollowers get exclusive access to it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Let us come around and see your work, man. See your projects.
For sure. No, I would love to. I got a song probably gonna drop in the next week. It's called "Summertime in Atlanta." Just on some fun shit.
I like that.
Some fun, like
"Summertime in Atlanta" with an LA hat on is crazy.
Yeah, I got a Cali summer song too.
But you said in a week, so in a week you don't drop "Summertime in Atlanta." Is it a project coming after that?
It's just a single. Well, yeah. Well, I'll probably do a project after that, but that'll just be a single, just something for the people to have for the summertime. Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's all the time we got today. We appreciate you coming.
No, I appreciate you.
We thank you for having us, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
We'll touch base again once you drop that "Summertime in Atlanta."
No,
we
for sure.
Be around for that.
Yeah, I'll send y'all the stuff too.
Yeah, let us know.